Chapter 21. Next move. Claire's fingers burned against the cold railing. Each step up the stairwell was measured. She could hear the tigress's pads tapping lightly behind her, every step deliberate, the faint scrape of claws on concrete sending shivers down Claire's spine. She had to keep moving, had to buy Liam time, but the higher she went, the louder each echo became. She glanced over her shoulder once. The tigress's amber eyes glowed even in the dim stairwell light, fixed entirely on Claire. Hunger and calculation combined in that gaze. She wasn't just chasing, they were being analyzed. Each movement of Claire's body, each stumble or slip would be noted, remembered, and used. Claire gritted her teeth and forced herself upward, one step at a time. Focus on the railing, on her footing, on nothing else. She could not let panic creep in, it would be the end of them both. Above, a dim fluorescent flickered, a weak halo of light that cast jagged shadows across the concrete walls. The tigress paused, head tilted, sniffing. She had reached the stairwell's base but hadn't yet committed to the climb. Her instincts told her the human would flee, that prey always made mistakes, but Claire's preparation and sheer determination slowed that outcome. "Keep quiet, Liam," Claire whispered. Her voice trembled slightly, but her tone was firm. "You're safe, just stay hidden." Liam's small hands gripped the pipes beneath the sink, his knuckles white. "Mom, she's still there," he whispered. "I know," Claire said, swallowing the lump in her throat. "I'm drawing her away, just stay still." A soft scraping sound echoed from above. The tigress had begun her climb. She pressed her paws carefully against each stair, muscles rippling under striped fur, her eyes locked on Claire's back. She moved like water, fluid and unyielding. Claire reached the landing, her heart hammering. The stairwell opened into a narrow service corridor leading back toward the street exit. She had only seconds to make her next move. A door at the end, a small maintenance exit, might be the only chance to gain vertical advantage, to break the line of sight long enough for Liam to remain hidden. She darted forward, every footfall deliberate but urgent. The tigress followed, silent but lethal, scent tracking her every movement. Claire's lungs screamed, each breath sharp, each exhale hot in the cold concrete. She could feel the predator's patience. It would wait, it would learn, it would strike the exact moment she faltered. She reached the maintenance door. It was heavy metal, cold, worn. She yanked it open and stumbled through, slamming it behind her. Behind the door, a service elevator shaft yawned, a cage dangling uselessly. Claire didn't hesitate. She clambered up a ladder on the side, dragging herself up step by step. The metal rattled and she winced at the sound, but the tiger had stopped at the base. She could feel it below, low and tense, waiting, patient. Minutes passed. Claire's arms burned, her shoulders screamed, but she couldn't stop. Every second meant survival for Liam. Every second meant keeping the tigress focused on her and not on the small boy hiding behind exposed pipes in a restroom several meters away. Finally, she reached the top, pushing herself onto the surface of the platform above. Concrete, cracked and slick with moisture. The faint night air whispered through vents. She could see the edge of the platform below, the empty subway tracks stretching back toward Fordham, silent, deadly. Claire exhaled, but there was no relief. The tiger below paused, sniffing the air, scanning, sensing. Claire had bought a small buffer of time, but she knew it wouldn't hold for long. Predators were patient in ways humans could barely comprehend. She crouched low, listening, plotting. The tigress was moving again, paw by paw, descending the stairwell. She would not be distracted for long. Claire's eyes darted toward the maintenance corridor. Another path, another stairwell leading up to the street. If she could lure the tiger there, she could force it into a confined area, slow its pursuit, and maybe, just maybe, give Liam the seconds he needed to remain hidden until help arrived. Every muscle in her body screamed. Sweat ran down her back, her hair clinging to her face. She swallowed the panic, buried it, and forced herself forward. Each step down the next corridor, each clang of metal, each echoing footfall on tile was a calculated risk. Claire was bait, a decoy, every inch of space measured, and beneath the platform the tigress followed, patient, relentless. Claire's mind spun. How long before the tiger realized she was leading it away? How long before Liam's hiding spot was compromised? How long before help, if it came at all, could arrive? She glimpsed the exit up ahead, a narrow stairwell that led to the street above. Light from the city spilled faintly through vents, a promise of safety but not a guarantee. She inched closer, feeling her body tremble with exhaustion. The tigress paused again, head cocked, analyzing. Claire froze, letting her eyes sweep across the corridor, imagining the predator's perception. She could almost feel the calculation in those amber eyes. Every instinct, every muscle, every twitch of Claire's body was being catalogued. Claire took a deep, trembling breath. One final push, one final calculated risk. She had to lure the tiger into the narrow stairwell, force it into a bottleneck, slow it, and buy Liam enough time. With a sudden yell, she clattered a trash can, knocking it across the corridor with as much noise as she could muster. The tiger's head snapped toward her, body coiling. Claire ran. Step by step, she led the tigress toward the stairwell, heart hammering, lungs burning, every movement precise but desperate. The city above waited, unknowable. And beneath the platform, Liam remained hidden, every second of his small life suspended in the patience of a predator. Claire's legs burned with every step, her calves screaming, lungs rasping as her heart pounded in her ears. Each movement was deliberate, a careful calculation between survival and drawing the predator away from Liam. She didn't dare glance back. Every second she lost could cost them both. The stairwell narrowed sharply, forcing her to duck low, the fluorescent tubes above flickering weakly, casting shadows that stretched and twisted across the concrete walls. The tigress followed, silent and fluid, her stripes merging with the darkness, muscles rippling with restrained power. Every paw fall was deliberate, the echo of her claws against the concrete a warning that predator and prey were locked in a deadly dance. Claire's mind raced. She knew the platform behind her was too exposed, and the hallways and stairs offered her minimal cover. The only chance was to force the tiger into the narrow stairwell leading to the street, a place where its size could slow it down enough for Liam to remain hidden. She could almost feel the calculations of the tigress, each movement predicted, each hesitation noted. A metallic clang echoed from behind her. She hadn't even touched anything, yet it was enough to make the tigress pause, head tilting, amber eyes glowing with keen focus. Claire forced herself to exhale, slow, deliberate, masking the panic clawing at her chest. The stairwell opened into a small corridor before another flight of stairs. Claire could see the faint glow of streetlight filtering through a vent at the top. Freedom, or at least a chance at it, was close, but the corridor was narrow. One misstep and the tigress could end this chase in a heartbeat. Almost there, Claire whispered to herself, though she knew Liam couldn't hear her. Her hand found the railing, her knuckles were white, and she started the final dash toward the exit. Below the platform, in the bathrooms, Liam pressed his small body tighter behind the pipes, listening. Every scrape, every clatter, every breath made him flinch. The tiger was close. He could smell it, musky, wild, overwhelming. His small chest heaved as he fought to remain silent, and his mother's voice echoed in his mind, "Stay hidden." Claire reached the narrow stairwell and flung herself upward, metal railing digging into her palms. She could hear the tigress's weight below, heavier here, pawing at the concrete, muscles bunching as she prepared for the climb. Claire felt the vibrations through the stairwell, the predator calculating her next move, matching her pulse with its own. At the top of the stairwell, she paused just long enough to glance out a vent to the street. Empty, silent, the city above was oblivious to the chaos below. She pressed herself against the wall, straining her ears, listening for the slightest sound of Liam moving, a soft scuff. Her heart froze. "Liam, stay, don't move," she whispered, barely audible. Her voice trembled, but she forced control, imagining the tigress sensing, analyzing, waiting for the slightest error. Below, the tigress had begun her ascent, paw by paw, muscles coiled, eyes fixed on the shadow Claire left behind. She wasn't rushing. Predators didn't rush. They waited for the moment prey made a mistake, and patience was their deadliest weapon. Claire edged toward the top, the stairwell narrowing so the tigress couldn't fully maneuver. She had to time this perfectly. One step too early, one movement too hasty, and the tiger could leap, tear, and destroy. Her mind flicked through every emergency drill she'd ever run in her head. Distract, redirect, move slowly by seconds. A flicker of movement caught the tiger's eyes. Claire seized it. She banged a metal railing against the wall, sending a loud clang echoing through the stairwell. The sound ricocheted, disorienting the tiger just enough. "Now," Claire whispered to herself, adrenaline surging. She sprinted the last few steps, emerging into the narrow service corridor above. The vent grated under her fingers as she pushed toward the street-level exit. The tiger reached the base of the stairwell just as she disappeared from view. Amber eyes glowed up the narrow flight, every muscle ready, patience unwavering. Hunger sharpened her instincts, but she wasn't moving blindly. Claire's scent lingered, teasing, leading, drawing her focus away from the smaller, hidden human. Liam pressed himself tighter behind the pipes, his breath shallow, his heart racing. Every scrape of metal, every echo of claws, every vibration through the tile floor sent fear slamming through him. He dared not move, dared not even breathe loudly. Mom said wait. Mom said survive. Claire pushed the maintenance door open, breathing hard, feeling every muscle burn. The corridor stretched before her, narrow, fluorescent lights flickering above, leading to a service hatch that could spill her onto the street. She edged forward, dragging her gaze down the line, waiting for the tigress to commit to following, waiting for the perfect timing to slip out of reach. The tiger climbed carefully, aware now, alert, calculating. Claire had bought Liam precious seconds, maybe more, but the predator was clever, adaptive, relentless. She glanced back mentally, picturing him huddled, trembling but still hidden. Seconds, that's all I need. Claire's body tensed as the tigress neared the stairwell top. She could hear claws scraping metal beneath, hear the subtle rumble of muscles shifting, hear the calm, deadly patience of a creature that had hunted for centuries without error. Almost there, she whispered, forcing her pulse to steady, every nerve screaming. One more corridor, one more flight, and they could, maybe, make it out. Outside, miles above the subway tunnels, Mike's hands tightened around the steering wheel of his truck. The streetlights blurred as he accelerated, knowing the tiger's location, knowing Claire's route, knowing Liam's peril. He didn't hesitate. He had to arrive before the predator did. Below, Claire moved one careful step at a time, leading the tigress, each heartbeat synchronized with fear and strategy. Every second mattered. Every movement was survival. And somewhere behind the pipes, Liam waited, silent, terrified, trusting his mother completely.